Hi, today I'll be discussing why I would use Phantom 4 Pro V2 over Mavic 2 Pro. Let's talk about it. Okay, so when you look at Phantom 4 Pro V2 versus Mavic 2 Pro, there are two features that I really like about Phantom 4 Pro compared to Mavic 2 Pro. The two main features that I think Phantom 4 Pro is better than Mavic 2 Pro is number one, the image quality. When you're filming wide angle shot, I find that Phantom 4 Pro V2 is very sharp. The image quality is sharp, whether you're taking photos or whether you're doing 4K videos. Whereas if you look at Mavic 2 Pro, when you just take the wide angle shot, the default setting, I find that the image is not very sharp. I feel like it's more like a 1080p rather than 4K video image. Now the advantage, of course, of the Mavic 2 Pro is that it does 10-bit 422. So for color grading, it's better than the Phantom Pro. But when you talk about sharpness, and that would mean like photography and 4K videos. If you like sharpness is one of your thing, then go for the Phantom 4 Pro V2. The second part that I think the Phantom 4 Pro is better than Mavic 2 is that it can do 4K 60 frames per second. That is just amazing. I don't think there's any DJI drone other than maybe the Inspire 2 and maybe Matrix as well. But if you talk about pro consumer drones or just the consumer drones in general from DJI, the only one that can do 4K 60 is the Phantom 4 Pro. Now, I rarely use it anyway, but if you have to use it, this is a drone to have. So these are two main features. I would say Phantom Pro is better than Mavic 2 Pro. Now, there are some things that I don't like about the Phantom 4 Pro, and one of them is initially when I film Phantom 4 Pro, I noticed that there is a couple seconds of jello effect. So it happens when I first start up my Phantom 4 Pro. Maybe is this just because of this drone that I have, but I'm not sure about production quality. But the one I have initially, when it starts to line up its gimbal and camera, I notice about a couple seconds when it's trying to adjust, there's a bit of jello effect on the image. But if you're flying it, for a couple minutes later, the shot is very steady. So the first maybe 30 seconds, you might see that jello effect, but after that, right through the 22 minutes, then there's no more jello effect. I don't know why. Maybe the camera is just adjusting its setting. So that's one problem I think I have with the Phantom 4 Pro. Now I don't notice that with the Mavic 2 Pro. The camera, when it starts out, it's good. There's no jello effect. Now, the other issue that Mavic 2 might have, and I noticed that in other footage and from other drone flyers, is that the horizontal line, the sky, depending on how you position the camera, there is this distortion, right? This horizontal distortion. In the Phantom 4 Pro, it doesn't show that as much, but the Mavic 2 does have that distortion, slight distortion. Now, to me, it doesn't really affect my image that much. I'm not that critical, but I think for some drone flyers, they like that straight line on horizontal event horizon. Be aware of the Mavic 2. It does have that effect, that distortion in the horizon. Another thing I noticed about Phantom 4 Pro is the joystick on the left side, the up and down elevation and as well as the rotation. I find it too sensitive. I find that when I'm trying to press on it, if I press too hard, it accelerates the drone really fast. I don't notice that happen with the Mavic 2 Pro as much as compared to Phantom 4 Pro. I don't know whether maybe I didn't calibrate properly, but in my remote control that I have, when I'm controlling the Phantom 4 Pro, that's what I noticed. On the left side, the up and down elevation and the rotation seems to be a problem. But I think maybe it's because I was flying the Mavic 2 and then the Mavic Air, and I'm used to the small joystick. And then when I tried to use the bigger controller on the Phantom 4 Pro, it wasn't as smooth. It's because I think maybe I'm not used to it yet. That could be the reason. Both of them are amazing drones. They're both pro consumer drones, and you know they can do 4K image at 30 and 24 frames, with the exception of the Phantom 4 Pro can do 60 frames per second, 4K. It can travel long distance, like for example, compared to Mavic Air, these two drones can do at least 1 kilometer without any issue. I noticed that Mavic 2 Pro can go further than the Phantom 4 Pro. I think it's because of the newer technology, the AquaSync 2.0 versus 1.0 on the Phantom 4 Pro. But still, 1 kilometer is pretty good without any weak signal issue. Okay, but the Mavic 2 Pro, 2 kilometers, even that, there's no issue at all. So that's awesome that they both can do long distance video filming or photography. And if you notice that well built, both of them, they're made of a very nice plastic, hard plastic compared to Mavic Air, and so it feels like they are meant to last longer, and that if they hit something, they're not gonna break apart like the Mavic Air. Both of them has a 1-inch sensor, so if you want to take evening or night shot, these are the drones to have. Now I noticed that the Mavic 2 Pro does a better job for low light situation. If you're going for color grading on the night shot, then I would go with the Mavic 2 Pro because it's 10-bit 422 compared to the Phantom 4 Pro, which is only 8-bit codec. So yeah, if you're thinking of color grading further, go with Mavic 2 Pro. If you're doing short films and anything related to film like anything that you're doing like cinematic film and all that, maybe you should go with Mavic 2 Pro. If you're thinking of taking photography or doing like land surveying, anything that requires sharp image, then go for the Phantom 4 Pro V2. That's my suggestion. But either case, both are an excellent for professional work. Whether you're doing real estate, I would say real estate, maybe go for the Phantom 4 Pro. Now have a look at the footage that I filmed with my Phantom 4 Pro V2. It's in 4K. Now this video is probably 1080p, so you might want to check the link below where I actually post up the 4K footage of the Phantom 4 Pro V2. Thanks for watching EducateTube.com.